Hello everyone. In the last session we talked about how to understand customers' requirement and to put them into perspective, how to measure them basically. And these customer expectations are the voice of customer and we are converting into measurable requirements called as the critical to quality. So that's what we have looked at in the previous sessions. Now the key challenge that we always have with the customer expectation and requirement is that a lot of time customers give us a lot of expectations. They give us a lot of requirements. For example, now you would have seen this a lot happening in today's world. If you go and purchase a car, or you would have seen this also with terms of mobile also. If you see a mobile 10 years back, or let's say if I take you further, let's say talk about year 2000. In the year 2000, what is something we wanted must in our mobile? We wanted to have a calling feature, we wanted to have a text SMS feature, and we wanted a battery, and we want a mobile to be mobile. We can take it anywhere. Should not have any wire. That was a requirement, must requirement. What extra feature we could have loved, like a snake game, a torch. That's it. And what feature you would have just simply loved, which is like out of the world, which you just did not even imagine? Those features could have been, let's say, a Bluetooth. Let's say a small VGA camera. But this is year 2000 I'm talking. So you see there were three levels of our requirements when I talk about in year 2000. If you see on the screen here, you will see I'm talking about three levels. First level of requirement is called as a must-have of a customer requirement. Second level is called as the good-to-have requirements, or satisfiers you can call them. Third level of requirement is called as the delighters. Now the world-class requirements, which are definitely unspoken. So now, if I really have to talk about these customer expectation and prioritize them on different levels, and if I again go back to the mobile example, what we just saw in year 2000, a calling feature or a text feature or a VGA camera or a Bluetooth or a snake game, in year 2010 these requirements changed. So everything that was in must have, good to have and delighters, they all shifted to must have. And now the good to have requirements in year 2001 were, you wanted to have a memory card, you wanted to have a better camera, you wanted to have color phones, and you wanted to have more games in the phones. And what could have been an absolute delighter out of the world? Touchscreen or a QWERTY keypad, maybe. Now year 2020, what is must have these days? Something that you could not even imagine in 2010 is a must have these days, which is the 4G touchscreen. These days we have 30, 40, 50 megapixel cameras. We did not even have great cameras of those quality which you get in these days in the phones. It's a must have I'm talking about. Facial recognition, touchscreen, fingerprint scan, these are all must have these days people are looking at. And good to have features can be unimaginable to think what can be, and delighters something we can't even think what those can be. So why am I talking about these requirements of customers? During a project in the corporate world, typically, when you want to improve the quality of a process, the customer may not know. Customer will not say the quality is bad. Customer will not say the time you take is long. Customer will express their problem with the process in a very different way than you put together. For example, someone applies for a loan. Now the time it takes to get the final loan approved can be very high. So customer will not say that it takes a lot of time. Customer might say, my experience with this bank is not good, or the overall my overall expectation feedback is very bad. If I have to apply for a loan with this bank, I will not go and speak to them. Maybe I'll go to some other branch or some other bank, because these guys are not able to do a great job. I have to do a lot of documentation, a lot of follow-ups, and nobody picks up my phone, and then they gave me a high interest rate. I have to show them my other documents, and then my loan got approved. So this is not a very good customer expectation. But where are the metrics? You put them into a metrics like quality, less follow-ups, less turnaround time. So that's how we are prioritizing. Can you improve this entire experience of customer of getting the loan to a customer in one go? Answer is no. Then why? So what do we do here? We'll try to improve this process in phases. Like first phase will focus on reducing the manual follow-ups. We'll also try to reduce the number of documentation that we are doing. We'll try to reduce any physical touch point with customer. We'll try to do everything online maybe. That's a first phase we'll focus, because that will require certain time. Because one thing you must remember, the 70% today is always better than 100% tomorrow. So this is what Kano model, it is called as Kano model, where we are trying to prioritize customers' requirement. So the first thing is must have. What customer must wants? What is something that they need it? So this is what we should focus today. In the future setup, in after 3 months or 6 months, when we try to further enhance our process, we add a lot of things that customer had mentioned earlier, we provide them now. It's called the second phase. We then make it completely contactless process. You apply on the bank's website, get everything approved online, get your loan in your bank account in 3 days. But there can still be some issues where you may not have a certain document, you may not have an address proof, for example, which is a very important document for the loans. Now, how do we deal with these things? So now in the third phase, after a year, company comes back with another set of enhancement in the process, where you can get the process even simpler, even easier process. So we are trying to look at the evolution of a process, but you do not provide everything on the same day, because technologically, by resource wise, cost wise, may not be very feasible for you. So when customer is not looking for a foolproof solution even now, you want to give them over a period of time. That is how we look at the feasibility of what you should do. So we should basically try to prioritize customer requirement as per an agenda, or as per different releases or versions, or as per what we can deliver today and what we can deliver tomorrow and what we can deliver after a year, depending on what is our ability to deliver. And we call this entire activity of prioritizing customer requirement, this method is called as the Kano model. Kano model has 3 levels: the must have of customers requirement, the good to have of customers requirement, and delighters of a customer's requirement. So in the slide you will see we have detailed it out. What exactly does it mean? Must have is something that customer sometime will say it upfront, or customer will say, I don't need to say it, this is given, this is understood. If I tell someone I need to cook, I need to eat food. Now when I'm saying food, you will not get me water, because I need to eat something. This is understood. When I'm saying I'm going out for dinner, that means I'll be coming back having my dinner. So if I come back and ask me, would you like to have the dinner, that's a basic courtesy. But that's an example of something that is understood on its own. I don't have to say it. I go to a mobile shop and I say I want a mobile. It is given the mobile should have a calling feature, should have an SMS feature, should have basic game, should have the good memory, should have a good camera. This is understood. You will not show me a feature phone of Nokia of 2005 and say, do you want this phone? Nobody wants this phone these days. That's understood. That's a must have. Similarly, if I go and purchase let's say a car, what is must have for a car? 4-wheelers, must have. It should have a steering wheel, must have. Engine, must have. And these days ACs must have. 4 doors and a boot, must have. So must have is something customer may not tell you specifically, but that is must have, without which the product or service will not even exist. That is must have. So you need to be very careful when you are understanding the requirements. You need to know what is a must. Now according to you, maybe must have different, but according to customer, must have is different. What you might think that this is a part of this is not part of the product or the process. According to customer, it is. So that's very important to understand. And then we talk about the good to have requirements. Good to have is something customer would like to have them. It's a wishful thing. It's a wish list they would like to add as part of the process. It would be great if my car has a cruise control. It would be great that with the food, if you also get the desserts free. It would be great if you can get me a 10% discount in the overall food bill. That's a good to have requirements when a restaurant is newly opened. What is a delighter? Sir, you are our first customer, you are a 100th customer. Your entire food bill is, we are not charging anything from you. That's an absolute delighter. Or dessert is free. Or you are a 100th customer, we give you 1 dinner free when you come next time for a set of 2. That's a delight. That's a service. Did customer expect it? No. Did they say it? No. But what was must have for the restaurant? To give them a good service, give them good food experience. What was good to have? They had a live music, they were good to have, but they gave them a free dinner for the next time. That's where we talk about the delighters. So this is about from a restaurant experience. So same thing goes for every process that we developed, every process that we're trying to improve. Always speak to customer, try to understand what is the must have from the customer's point of view, and try to understand what will be additional features the customer may like to have, and what are some features that customer may not speak but they will be absolute delighters, absolute add-on to a great customer experience, and they may be world-class thing. Now remember, these things, they are the expectation of customers. You may not provide all of them, but you must provide the must-have. Delighters you can provide after a couple of days or months, years depending. Similarly, good to have also. So that's about prioritizing customer requirement. Thank you everyone. This is Shivin Sharma.